Jack White here to showcase these new designs that I worked on with Fender. This is the triple caster guitar, the Pano Verb amp, and over there, and right here, the triple sonic, acoustasonic guitar. I'm going to take you through them a little bit and show you what we put together. We sort of found the best of the old with the best of the new and mixed innovation with the history of Fender and did something that we think maybe Leo Fender would be very proud of if he was alive today, and I think he still is. I'll take you through the Pano Verb first. I had an amazing time with Fender designing this. We worked on this for 4 or 5 years, and this was sort of like me shooting for the moon of what the ultimate Fender amplifier could be, or just the ultimate amplifier could be. They allowed me to design a lot of elements and work together with Fender to try to make something really beautiful and unique that Fender's never done before. Stan Cody put together the first prototype amp of this, and we went from there. I'll take you to the amp section first. Somewhere in here, you got a Fender Vibroverb, 1964 Vibroverb is in the heart of this amplifier. It's my favorite Fender amp, and I've used it for years. But I was thinking, what are these things I could make into this sort of dream Fender amp? And one thing was having a drive boost knob. I like drive and preamping, but I don't really like distortion in amplifiers too much. And a lot of modern amps have these distortion knobs. Well, this gives you an amazing boost without getting too distorted. I, of course, always missed the middle knob in certain Fender amps that I love. If they only had treble and bass, it was a bummer for me because I love to cut the mids a little bit in my signal. And I think a lot of people obviously love to have the 3 choices. So we have a 15-inch speaker here and a 10-inch speaker here. 2 different size speakers, not exactly something you've ever seen in a Fender amp before, and definitely not in those sizes. The sound of that is outstanding because double miking this, you get the deep, bassier crunch on the 15, you get the brighter, glassier tones in the 10-inch, and when you stereo mic these and pan them, your stereo image is just outstanding, even before you talk about reverb and tremolo on this amp, which I'll get to. Okay, let me show you a little bit of the amp section here. Drive knob is off. Drive on about halfway up. The reverb section, you're going to see me very happy as I talk about this. This is just the dream reverb scenario for a Fender amp, in my opinion, or for any amplifier. There was a Fender amp in the early 90s called the Vibro King, and I thought that was really cool because what they did is they took a Fender reverb unit, like the standard Surf Box reverb unit, and they put it in a combination amp with a dwell knob and a mix knob and a tone knob. The difference between our version of that compared to the Vibro King is the Vibro King came before the preamp section. This reverb section comes after the preamp section. And it's just beautiful how much energy it has. The decay goes on forever. It's just so beautiful and long and deep. And what we've done here, instead of having a tone knob, is we have a treble and bass knob. So you can control just the treble and bass of the reverb signal. Now, you've never seen that on a Fender amp before, no doubt about that. So if you like a really bassy reverb, you can turn the bass up and turn the treble down. If you like a really surfy, twangy reverb, you can turn the treble up on the reverb section. How cool is that? And that really comes in handy live and in the studio. The switch here on the end is also going to blow your mind. It's split and full. Full has the reverb coming through both these speakers, and split has it only coming through the 10-inch speaker. So if you have 2 microphones on a twin reverb, say, you're probably not getting much of a different sound unless there's a flaw in one of the speakers. If you have 2 microphones on this Pano Verb, you're going to get 2 different speaker sounds, 2 different speaker sizes, so they both have different characteristics, and the ability to put reverb only in the 10-inch side. Turn the reverb on. I'm going to show a bassy reverb now. Treble turned down, bass up, and we'll have it in full mode. Coming through both speakers. Trebly reverb. Bass and treble tone turned all the way up on the reverb in split mode. Reverb's only coming through the 10-inch now. the decay on this reverb is just outstanding. It just goes on for days, and it's so beautiful and rolling. I just love it. All right, we're gonna go to the tremolo section now. This is the first harmonic tremolo that Fender has done in an amplifier since the early 60s. I had this harmonic tremolo in my 61 Vibrasonic, and I really love the sound of it, almost like, it's opening up high and low pass filters rather than just amplitude modulation of volume going up and down. So we wanted to get that sound in here, and you have two modes here. You have a mono and stereo mode. So there's two amp sections in here that drive this stereo mode. In the mono mode, you're kind of more like the regular Fender tremolo. Amplitude modulation, two speakers going up and down in volume, but it's still harmonic tremolo. In stereo mode, you have a little bit of delay separation between these two. So you've got this stereo image that has this swampy wah, wah, wah going back and forth with left and right. The intensity all the way up and the speed down in this stereo mode, you can hear the movement. Okay, I'm going to leave the reverb section in the split mode here and get this in stereo mode on tremolo. Listen to that decay. Let me show you the mono section of the tremolo unit. Here's the same chord in stereo. If you get the speed down low and you get the intensity up, you get that nice swampy. So great. I'd like to take you through some of the small aesthetic details of this amp. One that I'm very proud of is how many times have any Fender player spent a minute looking for the power switch and standby switches. Well, you know exactly where they are in this amp. You have this lightning bolt indicator to show you right where the power switch is. You're welcome. We have this great yellow, white, and black artwork here. Fender's never done this color on an amplifier before. This is a cool little co-brand here with Third Man Hardware. The knobs are pretty interesting. These were like Fender prototype metal knobs in the early 60s. I guess they just used them for a little while and they didn't catch on, but I had it on an old Vibrasonic and I thought it would be nice to bring that back. What's even interesting too here, each section, the first knob clicks on and off. So if, let's say you have your reverb turned to 0 on a twin reverb and you assume it's off, This is not the case with this. The first knob in each section clicks off and it has a 0 spot. So you definitely know in the studio, you don't even want to worry about it. You've clicked it off. It's set in stone. So the intensity on the tremolo is turned off. The mix of the reverb is turned off. The drive is turned off. The input here is only one input. Just has a number 3 instead of a 1 or a 2. That's just a little Third Man Hardware flair to it. The foot switch, also unique, and you've never seen it before, a yellow foot switch on a Fender amp. But that's just the kind of cool aesthetic part. But what I really am proud of is, for years, I've always wanted to put my switch for the amp up by my pedal board, but the wire always came out of the middle. Well, we got this one to come out the side, so now you can wrap that cord around and have it right next to your pedal board without it being funky and feeling backwards. That's a tiny innovation I think is really, really cool, and I hope Fender keeps that for other amplifiers. This amp comes with a yellow and black canvas cover instead of Naugahyde. I'm an upholsterer by trade, and I love the feel of certain fabrics, and I wanted to have something a little bit different. The yellow jewel light here to make this a little bit special, coming factory standard. Air conditioning and pizza oven, also factory standard. Yellow Fender amp logo, which is very cool. And to go with the whole collection here, the guitar cases also have this exact same yellow logo on them, which I think is a cool little marriage of these products that we collabed together.